Humans are the top of the food chain. We were given the power to conquer because we have what other creatures don't: intelligence. However, as much as we'd like to puff out our chest and say, "We rule the world, whatever's on the land, in the ocean, or up in the sky is ours," we can't. Because there are some places that one should never, ever visit. Let's use this intelligence to keep ourselves safe, shall we? Because in this episode, I'm going to show you the top 20 places that you should never visit, from a doomsday vault to a cave full of crystals. Hey guys, this is Crystal Entertainment. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you want to keep track on the newly released episodes, click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Alright, let's stall no more and go dive into the video. Starting off at top 20, we have Paris Catacombs. The history of this fascinating but admittedly creepy looking place started back in the 15th century. It was originally set up in the 1700s because overcrowding of a central cemetery became a hazard. Hence, the authority used abandoned quarry tunnels snaking through the city. Paris Catacombs holds the remains of more than 6 million people. Yes, it's true that it is kind of open for the public view, but only a small section from this tunnel is available for visits, though some 200 miles of labyrinthine tunnels are believed to exist. Back in 2004, while searching the catacombs, police discovered a cinema in one of the caverns. Apparently, some people actually find bones as decoration a fun way in watching movies, because the area was equipped with a giant screen, seats for the audience, a fully stocked bar, and a complete restaurant. The source of its electrical power and the identity of those responsible remain unknown. Top 19. Surtsey Island. Surtsey Island is one of the youngest islands in the world. It appeared due to a volcanic eruption that lasted from 1963 to 1967. However, this majestic place could only be visited by research groups. Why? Because scientists want to understand how ecosystems form without any human influence. There are actually rules that forbid them to bring any seeds to the island. Then again, one rebellious scientist disregarded it and brought tomato seeds there in their own colon. Can you imagine the horrified reactions when the other scientists realized a plant sprouted? Of course they removed it to continue their spotless research in their very own ultimate natural laboratory. 18. Chichen Itza Pyramid, Mexico. Are you shocked why Chichen Itza is on the list considering it's one of the most popular tourist attractions in the world? Let me explain a bit. It's actually fine to visit and marvel the beautiful Mayan pyramid. But you know what you shouldn't do? It's a big no-no to climb it. How did this ban come about? It was in 2006 when a woman tumbled off the pyramid. Seeing the length of this pyramid, you can tell the event had a tragic ending. So, for precaution, it became closed to the public, to the disappointment of multiple tourists striving to reach the top of Chichen Itza. 17. Nihao Island, Hawaii, USA. Nihao Island is known as the Forbidden Island. This island was purchased by Elizabeth Sinclair, a Scottish farmer and plantation owner, back in 1864, and since then it's privately owned by her descendants. But that's not what makes this place crossed off your bucket list. In 1952, the Hawaiian Islands faced a polio epidemic, and so as an attempt to avoid the spreading of the disease, a ban to leave or enter the island was issued. Luckily, no one got sick in Nihao. At present, the island only houses a population of around 170 people. If you want to be stubborn and really want to enter, you need to get a special permission, which is quite difficult not only for us average people, but also for the rich and popular. 16. Fort Knox Vaults. The Fort Knox Vaults is home to most U.S. gold reserves. Yes, piles of dazzling gold can be found there. Not only that, this place also held the U.S. Constitution, part of the Hungarian crown jewels, and reserves of morphine and opium. This being said, it has been deemed the most heavily guarded place on the planet. No single person can make it into the vault. Several combinations need to be entered to gain access, and even if you're a staff member, you only get to know just one. If you ask whether the vault has been robbed, the answer is no. In fact, no one has attempted to rob it since the vault opened in 1935. 15. Vatican Secret Archives. If you're curious about what this underground houses, I'm with you. To give you a few examples, you can find the immense history of the Acts of Pope, state papers, historic documents, papal account books, and other official correspondence, some of which dates back to the 8th century. Amazing, right? Not only that it has letters from Michelangelo, a letter from Mary Queen of Scots written while she was awaiting her execution, and King Henry VIII's request for a marriage annulment, because basically important files can be found there. So it's no-brainer that access is strictly limited to staff and qualified scholars who have to undergo rigorous application process to be granted entry. 14. Ilha de Quemara Grande. Ilha de Quemara Grande, also known as Snake Island, is located 93 miles from Sao Paulo. I only have one word as a warning for you to not be in this place. Snakes. Lots of snakes. Researchers estimate between 1 and 5 snakes live per square meter on the island. This made the place untouched by human developers, as the island is densely populated with venomous snakes. Even the Brazilian Navy has it quarantined, and one biologist quoted, "You are never more than 3 feet from death on the island." The government of Brazil has banned anyone, except researchers, from landing there. I assume you won't risk your life, right? Good, good. 13. Black Mountain. The Black Mountain in Queensland, Australia is pretty much just a giant pile of granite boulders, some even the size of a house. As a matter of fact, the absence of soil between the boulders and rocks create a maze of gaps and passages which can be used to penetrate inside the mountain, though there are massive internal cave systems that change over time due to collapses, and therefore the mountain hasn't been mapped yet. What made it scarier is when the mountain whistles and moans in the wind. This is also hard for the locals to get radio signals. Your phone would be pretty much useless there, so it's advised that one should keep away from the mountain. You really wouldn't want to be stuck in a maze, right? 12. The Darien Gap. The Darien Gap is a 100-mile gap in the Pan American Highway. Also, it covers terrain that includes Panama and Colombia, but is effectively governed by neither. Most of it is marshland and with virtually no infrastructure. It's a wet cesspool of tropical disease and, historically, paramilitary groups. Smart people like you would not want to cross this path, as it is virtually guaranteed to claim the lives of the careless. In other words, there is nothing of civilization or man's law there. 11. Room 39. This room is not like any other room. Room 39 is a secret organization associated with the dynasty of the North Korean dictators, the Kim family. Actual Room 39 is thought to be located inside a ruling Workers' Party building in the capital city of Pyongyang. It is rumored that Room 39 has a slush fund of up to $5 billion and may be involved in meth and heroin distribution. They also run an international chain of restaurants called Pyongyang. Quite controversial, right? Until 2004, the organization also maintained an official bank in Vienna, which they used for money laundering and trade with radioactive substances. It might sound for this place to be straight out of an action movie, but you wouldn't want to be there and become a witness. I know I wouldn't. Congratulations, you reached half of the video. This episode must have tickled your interest, right? Well, this channel makes more fun and engaging videos. So do like this video and subscribe. Anyway, back to the list. At number 10, we have Poveglia, Italy. I have the best word to describe this place. Haunted. Why? Well, this might look just like an abandoned place, but the history of the island is much more sinister than you think. Poveglia is a small island located between Venice and Lido. However, in the past, it used to be a plague quarantine station and hosted more than 160,000 infected people who were living their last days and hours there. According to some reports, 50% of the island's soil consists of human remains. And as if this tragedy wasn't enough, the island later became home to a mental hospital that had a very disturbing reputation. Apparently, a mad doctor took the island's remote area to his advantage and experimented on his patients mercilessly. After some time, it was closed, and now poveglia is strictly forbidden to enter for anyone, as if someone in their right mind would want to come to this creepy place. Number 9. Svalbard Global Seed Vault, Norway. Oh, another vault. But unlike the other one, which contains gold, this vault stores 100 million seeds from all over the world. You might wonder why the authorities have this idea. Well, the vault's purpose is to store the seeds to restore the plant kingdom in case something really, really bad happens to our planet's vegetation. This is why it's sometimes referred to as the Doomsday Vault. In case doomsday comes upon us, we have a way to bring back the greens in our planet. Having said that, the Global Seed Vault in Norway is actually a very important place for all of us. The vault was opened in 2008 and was built to last about 200 years. In addition, it can withstand explosions and earthquakes. Besides, since it was placed on the side of a mountain, it will still be above sea level even if all the ice on the planet melts. What's more interesting is that the vault knows no politics. Even North Korea has given its seeds for storage there. At this point, the government finally set aside their differences and thought about humanity's survival in general. Number 8. North Sentinel Island, India. This island right here is a small landmass in the Bay of Bengal. Its indigenous population, known as the Sentinelese, rejects any contact with the outside world and remains one of the few peoples that remain untouched by our civilization. Yes, that means these dudes right here haven't heard what an iPhone is and haven't tasted pizza yet. Yes, they're that adamant about being on their own island and won't accept the extended olive branch from the outsiders. So how do we keep even the authorities away from this island? Well, violence, of course. Like a cornered cat, they become hostile and simply shoot arrows in them. For this reason, it's impossible to approach the island and survive the encounter. They fiercely protect their territory. At one point, a man rode his way to the island to preach about Christianity, but it just ended in a bad ending for him. Regardless of your reasons, my friend, I advise that you should never visit this place. Number 7. Mausoleum of Kinshi Huang, China. China has a really unique culture. An example of this is the Mausoleum of Kinshi Huang. Although the tomb of Emperor Kinshi Huang was discovered upon unearthing the Terracotta Army in 1974, it hasn't been excavated yet. According to opponents of excavation of the tomb, modern technologies can't prevent its destruction. For this reason, access to it is still forbidden by the Chinese government that strives to preserve their cultural heritage and pays respect to the man buried there. But what we do know about the mausoleum now is that it consists of a complex network of caverns underground, filled with the objects that, according to those who buried him, the emperor could have needed in the afterlife. Among others, it holds the reproduction of his army, known as the Terracotta Army, made of clay. Number 6. Morgan Island, South Carolina, USA. If there's a snake island, of course there would be a monkey island. A colony of approximately 4,000 rhesus monkeys lives on Morgan Island, South Carolina, due to which it was nicknamed Monkey Island. But despite what you might think, the population of primates isn't native to the island. They were relocated there from Puerto Rico due to the spread of the herpes virus B infection. Before it happened, the island was uninhabited, so at present, visitors are prohibited by law to visit the island for their own safety, as well as for the safety of the monkeys. Also, only a handful of researchers from the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases can go there. Number 5. Plutos Gate. Plutos Gate is an archaeological site in southwestern Turkey that was discovered in 2013. And did you know, the site was a temple that was dedicated to the god of the underworld. It was built on top of a cave which emits toxic gases. There's deadly vapors still wafting out of this gate to hell, and it still claims the lives of unfortunate birds that get too close. Ritual animal sacrifices were common at this site. The danger forbids tourists to get too close to the site. Number 4. Bottomless Lakes, New Mexico. Bottomless lakes in New Mexico are what they sound like. In literal sense, some of the small lakes have no bottom and feed underground rivers and streams stretching hundreds and possibly thousands of miles. In fact, trackers that have been tossed in have been found days later at the Gulf of Mexico. Unfortunately, the lakes have claimed many lives of careless swimmers, and some of the lakes are now sealed off. You wouldn't want to swim in that, trust me. At the third spot, we have the famous Area 51, Nevada, USA. Not only is this place one of the most well-known forbidden places in the US, but it's also one of the most mysterious locations. Some claim an alien spaceship crashed there, while according to others, authorities used this place to examine the spaceship that, allegedly, crashed in Roswell, New Mexico, another super mysterious place. The official version states that Area 51 is the site used by the US Air Force and CIA as a testing territory due to its remote location. But whatever's the truth, we will never find out, as tourists, visitors, and curious folks like you are not allowed to be there. Number 2, Mesgorier, Russia. It's a given that since Russia is the largest country in the world, mysterious sites, ghost towns, and other special places could be found there. Say, for example, Mesgorier. It's a closed town somewhere in the southern Ural Mountains. To keep off anyone who wants to penetrate into the town or even come close to it, it's encircled by 2 battalions. We don't have a clear answer as to why this area is surrounded by this kind of secrecy, but according to the most believable reports, it's a nuclear missile site that allegedly has automatic missiles that can be controlled remotely. However, since government officials don't comment on it, we still can't be sure what Mesgorier is. And at number 1, we have Cave of the Crystals. Your eyes might bulge out of its sockets after hearing the word crystals, but hear me out first. The Cave of the Crystals in Mexico hasn't been fully explored yet, and most of it is forbidden to visitors. Why? To put it simply, the cave is extremely hot, with air temperatures reaching up to 58 degrees Celsius, that's 136 degrees Fahrenheit, with 90 to 99% humidity. And therefore, without proper protection, people can only endure approximately 10 minutes of exposure at a time. In order to map it, spelunkers had to wear special refrigerative suits and could only go so far due to their suits overheating. So if you're not a fan of being toasted to death, let's not go there, okay? Alright folks, that's the end of the video. How about you? Which among the places mentioned made you decide to stay in your room instead of traveling? Comment down below because we'd like to know. If you like what you watched, share this to friends and family, and don't forget to leave us a like and do subscribe.